Hi, my name is Christina Short, and I am a graduate of Franklin University. I have my bachelor's degree in education, and I also work at a school. It is a Montessori school, preschool through kindergarten, and I am focusing my degree at Walsh on school counseling. I kind of decided to pivot early into my bachelor's degree. Um, and decided that I wanted to focus more on the social emotional aspect of children. And so that's kind of what has led me here. Some of my skills that I've developed and worked on throughout the semester has been half and half. I feel like half of them came really naturally to me. Reflection of feeling, active listening, the nonverbal skills, showing unconditional positive regard. Those are all things that I feel like were kind of just innate to me, just naturally in my personality and how I interact with other people. So those things I feel like I already had down, which was really helpful. And relating to my client was something that I naturally do in conversations as well. And I used countertransference appropriately in a lot of my practice labs. At first, I wasn't quite sure navigating it because, like I said, it's something that is more natural to me to relate to people in conversation. So when I was trying to practice it as an actual counseling skill, navigating when to do it and how to appropriately do it was something that I kind of learned and progressed. Feedback I often got was that the client felt safe and comfortable divulging information to me, that they felt understood because of my reactions and language with the countertransference. Referencing an article from 2020, Gabbard states, "It is common knowledge that therapists are disclosing things about themselves whenever they are choosing to comment on a particular aspect of what the patient is saying. However, these inadvertent self-disclosures are not the same as specific technical interventions designed to allow one to use the countertransference constructively." So this article supports the idea that countertransference can be helpful to the client, but especially when it's used appropriately as an intervention style or a way to enhance the support of the client. Some other challenging things that I didn't do as well, or I felt like I had to work harder at, were reflection of meaning, paraphrasing, intervention, and goal setting. Paraphrasing, I feel like I was able to be a little bit more successful at as time went on. It came a little bit more naturally to me. Reflection of meaning as well. And some of these I maybe even overthought a little bit too much. And I noticed once I kind of relaxed into it, especially towards our later practice labs, that I was able to do it more effortlessly and more appropriately when I wasn't overthinking it and just kind of leaning into the flow of the conversation. And as far as the intervention and the goal setting, that was obviously things that I've never done before with myself or with really anybody else. So that was the biggest challenge, especially with goal setting. It was really hard for me to follow the SMART goals for some reason and to get the specifics of it. But the practice labs were super helpful for me to navigate and kind of work through all of these kinks throughout the semester. So that was really beneficial for me. And I feel like by the time I was getting to the recordings, I was showing a lot more progress. A big takeaway with the lessons of this course is learning about the interventions and goals, as I had mentioned. I thought it was really interesting learning about how to kind of find the block to the success with goals. If you weren't being successful with goals, kind of figuring out, what's stopping you. Is it a mental block? And then how can we take those small steps to progress from that? And it was actually a conversation in one of our live sessions where Dr. Gooseman was talking about, really breaking it down and stripping it back. It's okay, what are all the steps we take to go to the gym? We want to go to the gym, but is it she mentioned, putting on shoes? And I thought, I even kind of took that in my own personal life. Okay, how can I, if I want to end up here and it's something is stopping me, you know, what if I just put my shoes on for the day? I don't even go to the gym. All I'm doing is putting my shoes on. So that was a huge takeaway for me, and something that I could see using in my personal and professional life going forward. Something that I also took away from this that will help my professional life as well is I realized I have a little bit of a control. I'm naturally a leader, and I realized that I kind of took over the conversation a lot with the client, and I need to be better at stepping back and letting them lead. And I also noticed I just, even with my partner as my classmate, you know, I was kind of controlling, this is the time that I would like to meet, and this day, does this work for you? And I wasn't, you know, mean about it, but I was definitely trying to direct it, which, you know, worked out great with my partner, but it's not always going to. So that's something that I just noticed that I'm taking away. And it also kind of bled into the counseling aspect with my client during the practice labs. Is a lot of my questions were kind of doubling up on the other because I was like anticipating a response. And mostly that was because I was trying to meet certain like skill sets, right? But I did notice it, and just something to be cautious of. I need to give them more space. So some challenges, identifying and navigating the control was a big one, and I will continue to work on that. Another one was just like anxieties in the beginning. I had anxiety about doing a new platform and like uploading and all of this, and then just being on camera and talking to somebody else new and all new things. But I just slowly kind of worked through it, and I just overcame them by doing them and trying to get out of my head. And it helped to kind of build a rapport with my partner who I was doing my practice lab with. She was really supportive, so that helped as well. And my future development, the biggest thing that I want to find is my own theoretical framework that I feel like I identify with. I feel like, especially in a school counseling setting, there's a lot that we know fit best for that, but I'm also trying to figure out, well, what for me personally aligns with me and my own personal philosophy that I can tie into what will work best in that setting. So that is kind of my future, is figuring that out. And I think that'll just take some time and process. And obviously I have some ways that I'm starting to lean, but that's kind of my future goals. So